Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on the Swing review. And this is a raw review uh, from last night. And basically a bit of sad news when we get into the actual review of the show. But Zoe Stark actually actually had a thick injury during one of the Money in the Bank triple threat all of her ayers, and yeah, she blew out the exact same year as she had previously. Um, so yeah, and my thoughts are with Zoe Stark. Other than that, as I give my brief sort of overview before we go into any descriptive sort of stuff of the review. It was just mainly set up for both the Saturday night's main event, Peak Hawking and NBC special that's go only be on that's going to be the Saturday. Um, as well L is set up for the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank. You've also got the Worlds Collide special happening the same day as Money in the Bank, so I would imagine I would imagine the stuff with Penta and El Grande Americano, which is obviously Chad Gable's Origo. That match will be happening in the Worlds Collide pay-per-view. Both are happening on the 7th of um, on the 7th of June and the Los Angeles, East California area. Of course, a boogie, a boogie, a ripping, a ripping for hands off again with the combo tickets scheme, but we won't get into that. Again, that's a totally different subject that I've covered a couple of times on the channel. But yeah, so overall, nothing out the ordinary on this show. Oh, but to the delight of myself, Logan Paul, who I called the world's biggest shitstain, kicks off the show. Obviously, obviously, this is like his promo to set up the match with JSO on the NBC special, which viewers will get via YouTube, providing WWE managed to upload to the link on time, because they don't seem to be doing that with Evolve right now. But anyway, Woking kicks off the show, and it's first um a- and the first bit at the promo was for at Hurricanesville he's only be he's going to be the champion heading into the match with Gunther on the Raw after on in the Bank. Um, uh, for he he knocked out he knocked out Jey so 38 times in a row, and he's going to make it four and sack all day. Although he did that, shall we say, he, Jay beat Gun Gunther, although for the title. But before he could say any more out, Gunther, and he says to Logan Paul, there's a lot to admire about you. You built multi billion pound so social media empire having having you as champion would be good, but isn't it? Is and good profit for the company. But here is the thing you are concerned about, but isn't this way it is I'm concerned about protecting the sport, and if you take the title off, if you take the title off jail, so I'll see that as a massive disrespect because because it's his desire obviously to beat Jay for the belt, and then any points over to my if you look at that my and sitting over there, he went to war with me, and and he- and then that's what happens when you're on the wrestle us is respect me. Hogan stuff outside in the big man, but Gunther was absent so after all this so um jail so ups into the and yeah so Logan Paul was a perk gives Logan Paul was a perk and he says see you sir I'll see you sir till the A4 with also one um one way tells one what these he, he, so now you know why he was left off a bad actual Ash. I think WWE are trying to treat these Saturday nights in event shows with some grandeur basically, and he's the current Raw heavyweight champion, so they needed a and needed a match for the big for on the big in the end of the show, and I think even though I despise Logan Paul with every fibre of my being, um the company are treating him like a big star, so of course to the that this feels like a big marquee in event, but to me it's kind of like my uh, because even though I like Jey so I don't think he's convincing intimidating World Heavyweight Championship material. I know Sean absolutely hates you, so but equally but equally Sean actually hates Logan Paul as well. I'll shout out to Sean who will watch this and it gets uploaded. But yeah, it just seems like a very sort of crammed together me an event in the but anyway we kick things off with you kick things off with the enter introduction. So Penta comes out, does his win challenge with the swag, or basically I love the walkie as it's he he just he just emphasizes coolness. It's basically it's got a cool term, sexy, extra, and having like the more sort of electric guitar riff and his entrance music kind of enhances the theme. I'm sure I spoke about this last week, but I'll just reiterate the point here. But in this, I just, this guy just, screams the word Ubi. Basically, the guys get all the tools to be your main event, or basically in the company. So as Pent is making his entry, entry, all Heyman, you see Paul Heyman in the walker, talking to the jail, so as jail, so makes his way to the back, and Heyman actually says to the jail, so, let me jar up a few facts on you based on wisdom. Fact, I don't usually ask peers to book matches like Arden and Braun Break are in several Owens, but I did the smoke fact, but on Breaker is looking to so often you up for or never and show my acts with um say for Owens because guys that'll happen eventually. See that I can see that happening in the near future once I think um say, for all and so win money in the bank, but to believe that's a story there, I'm sure I'm to like hell, but the ends money in the bank kill all the fires on the raw side haven't kicked off yet. But anyway, Heyman and says, and Heyman and says, um, fact, um, or Owens and but or on actually ACU as a great champion, so it's what I am but on but Icarus um as to wonder if you can hear of you, uh, and anyway, and can immediately is up to that point of the conversation, of the confrontation, because so far Jay hasn't been booked on a paper of view since actually beating Gunther at WrestleMania 41 Night 1. It's hard to yeah, get one reference for or a champion as not being booked on a paper of you right after winning the championship. It's probably one of the drawbacks of having six matches in a paper um on a pay-per-view card. But yeah, um, JB, sig- um, JB is the and for Arm and Heyman says, oh, the way he um oh, oh, the way he avoid the I'm gonna go the different way because it looked as though JB was gonna rip Heyman's head off, but yeah. But yeah, Heyman, was fantastic in the segment as always, but yeah, the line in the here that he was given about Jay being a great champion. You're only a great champion if you're booked on pay-per-views, and so far since he's missed like backlash, it doesn't really scream that the company has all that much faith in you, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, so now that's done, so we get back to this match. AJ Styles is out next. Uh, um, so yeah, so then we get the Judgment Day Finn Balor and JD McDonough, who Styles and Penn are gonna up against in this match. It of course been accompanied by Carly, who's kind of been relegated a henchman since joining the Judgment Day. But yeah, as I like Carly, anyway, I always have, so I'm happy to see him in the company in some capacity. So, so to give you a brief breakdown of the opening match, you get Pat McAfee actually mentioning and um actually mentioning an own heart reference because JD on was for the arm drag on on pen sorry and entered as the own heart iconic cup partner Kiffy actually was mentioned as very own heart esque or something. He says, I hope Arthur heart owns widow doesn't mind whom much about the reference here. I'm not going to get into why I'm concerned about that reference with like in regards to my Arthur's reaction. You all know a bit about Over the Edge 1999. I'm not getting into that, but yeah, there was was a bit of concern because I know my Arthur is still um a little bit hung up over that incident, and you can't really blame him, to be honest. But obviously, um, obviously, there's a bit of a back and forth between the two teams. It's actually the best match of the night, believe it or not. Loads of action in this match, fun, but I'll hit a couple of swing below age, ages. I use hits his reverse EDE onto Finn Balor, or heels take control during the break. After AJ hits his reverse DDT on Balor, Carlo Ito sends him flying into the ring post. So the heels begin to dominate, and obviously, by the point, and obviously by the point, Penta and heels begin the umber, hits he hits the aerial slingshot eyes over the top rope, onto the judgment. He obviously Carly he will again get it's involved causing the distraction, and it's up to Finn and um JD McDonough to take the offense back, because they're the heels, so they eventually um eventually AJ and AJ and Penta decide to take out Carly. Penta the end comes back and hits a Canadian hits a Mexican destroyer, or it's a force a habit calling the move a Canadian destroyer, as Pete Williams called has the Canadian the destroyer. That's how I'm familiar with the move, but anyway, Pen hits McDonough with the Mexican destroyer on the floor. It actually looks a bit more impressive because JD McDonough's head is a bit like a Funko Pop anyway, so it kind of looks a bit more impressive, but Pen as Pen gets also up, you see El Grande, Erica, I know, get up to my ask pen. I know he's sitting, in the front row, under and he hits, and then he headbutts him at the back of the head with the wall, or did my ass of the metal hull. He found back I will then takes back control for the judgment day, hits the coup de grace on pen, and gets the victory. Now, to be honest, guys, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of pen, or I cannot pull horses. Considering considering was the back as to the almanac is stereo, and he was and he was the couple of weeks ago on the Raw as well. When stuff it just kind of makes me shut or a bit. I get why they've on it because obviously because obviously Penta will probably be featuring on that World's Collide show, or in Los Angeles is, and I imagine his opponent in some form will be El Grande Americano, and hopefully they do my ask versus my ask, because it's getting a bit tiresome, even although Chad Gable has managed to rack up a few wins, um, a few wins as of late um, under the El Grande gimmick, but obviously, I'm not really a fan. Um, I think I think it was funny for the first couple weeks, but WWE kind of go overboard in the set comedy a couple most of the time, and yeah, I think it's starting to really get my tits basically, and basically, but in the back, you see, um, in the back, you, you see, you see Sephora all and having having a chat with Hogan all about the possibility of about the possibility of Logan Paul being champion, obviously obviously he's trying to broker a deal, and basically he says he says Logan, and you become champion, and you become champion on a show, um, on a show if you get by doing Gunther in Barcelona, also opening up J for Aria, so think about it, we can run back my match from WrestleMania 13 in a few weeks ago. Think about it. Always in your work with then obviously. And then obviously the idea is how an announcement about him featuring in a downloadable content pack for the WWE 2K25, which I don't really give a shit about because the 2K games are a bit hit and miss, to be honest, and yeah, having a non um having a non-wrestle having having a non-wrestle or head to in a DLC pack is a bit stupid, to be honest. Um, I don't really see I don't really see where it is because if you're not a wrestling fan, you're not gonna um tune in to the show. To be honest, Triple H kinda um has kinda redirected it towards some more wrestling based audience the past couple weeks. I think he started to earn his lesson that so but he's like answer to the show. Um, to be honest, and it takes away from the action having all these so but announcements. But yeah, obviously they spend a good bit of time um chatting to this guy who I believe is for the Indiana Pacers. I don't remember. Oh, somebody is so already correct me down in the comment section. But yeah, to be honest with you, he's not a Shaquille O'Neal. He's not a Michael Jordan. He's not a uh, he's not a Magic Johnson, and he's not an on so this guy, I don't even know who he is. So um, it's kind of a waste of a segment, obviously, as well that as happens again with the cinema Michael Cole on Raw or for on my 2012 episode that gets it only is shown again what to do. So we get um, we get to the second match of the night, which is Italia versus yeah, Natalia versus Q and versus Oxan Perez, and then announcers I just saw I just saw I just saw on Twitter or it's um, I just saw what I just saw on the air obviously here Oxan signs a contract to join Mama Monday night or so then the announcers make a reference the video um and you show the video again here um obviously obviously as well the obviously as well the uh, and then Talia took part in the Rocket Cup paper review event for on the National Wrestling Alliance, which is now owned by owned by Oregon for the Smashing Pumpkins. If you didn't know Natalia, and Natalia faced off against the women's champion on and Boogie and the page. You've probably seen the match. Natalia worked as a heel in that match. Obviously, again, she lost in that match, um, and I don't want to spoil anything here, but she takes the pin all here. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a decent match, and Talia actually got some good offense, and there was one point in the match where Natalia both had Inch and Arez in the same shot. Should I thought that was a um, I thought that was a cool moment. San and Ivan through the ropes. But you and shot a couple of my handheld slams during the match. There was a slight watch during the match, and yet obviously you know Roxanne goes for the with his race. I think she needs to drop the from a moveset because it doesn't look very good the way she hits that move. It looks kinda awkward. Basically, she hits it on. I think that Natalia, obviously, in Natalia tries to hook, put, Perez in sharpshooter again a couple of times. Becky Lynch actually puts a stop to that, so Sans still fights on in the match, but Q and the and hits another man handle slam before she can put away the match. Out comes either Valkyria and she um and she's so hides her Oxan Perez out there and either Valkyria and Becky, and but all up her and her Oxan hits Parox or finishing maneuver gets a 30 each. And if you didn't think Roxanne Perez was going to win the match here, you need to up the dosage of your medication because it was obvious. because kind of she's kind of she's kind of the new signee and management actually view but like things in Perry as his future. So yeah, on the grand scheme of things, or Oxan probably he should have on here and she did. Um, it was just a bit predictable, and yeah, I'm a bit sort of hot and cold in the Oxan sometimes, so it's okay, and then other times she can be a bit orchy. It just depends. But yeah, in the back, you see, in the back, you, you see Zawa or ama chwa for save or save for next week's episode Chad book Hamza and a five in the Hemel a five in the AU and Chad basically it says good um good to to for us if he's gonna um is gonna all you be basically what and it all looks as though it all looks as though to Zalom as only happened but then Adam Pearson or X Adam Pearson Jack Emmy asks Chad to or able wants Chad Abel's Chad Gable's responses. Here's money in the bank. However, I am imagine here's I think that and you said that this is ridiculous and this is ridiculous. Obviously, um, obviously, obviously, he says as well, the reads have their tag, um, their tag title shot, but about us, and obviously. Obviously, and then obviously the new, obviously the new, the oh man, and basically say, and they basically say to Jordan, I've get the up a year or boys sick, read and Chad actually, responds. Chad actually responds again, or it's are going to take the tag out was um are going to take the tag out was or Romy the guys next week the new day he said I will like you are confident and Adam yes as well. And Adam Pierce says, like, why don't you take that conversation? On? Why don't you take that conversation elsewhere? here, of it is, obviously, and or, you have, you have, Sammy's in, say, jail, so that he's got his back, and then no matter, or, obviously, as well, him and would like, uh, get even my, family all and then break up before, so many bring it and they do their, um, handshake, and they do the handshake thing, which is actually quite cool. They've kept, uh, um, of it. Um, so now, so, uh, uh, so I will get, Seamus versus Racing. Oh, now Grayson, now Grayson, oh, is supposed to have that match last the each with Seamus, but he put, Austin really forward, for the match, so the, so that this is a match that was originally supposed to happen, and the reason why I am laughing at this is because this is like this is like the longest, spell, in history. Basically, they've been using this, but, almost, forever, and like this match is as basic as it gets. Um, yeah, Ethan will all of tries to, tries to use the 10 each on Amos, but Seamus is just eats and gives him all of the, and eats, Seamus hits a weird, sort of tilt, um a backbreaker, which didn't look very good, and that hurts me to say, because I actually like Seamus as a performer, and I get sometimes you have to incorporate new moves and your moveset, but I wouldn't try that again if I was Seamus, because it didn't look all that great. Gary Eason all our hits, hits signature, rolling was lineman veteran, Seamus, and again goes for the, and eats to the bowling. Um, but then Gary Sinwa all or just ends up there, and, he tries to run up there, Eric cuts him off, um, Erika cuts him off, and he says, Eric, um, Eric, one, you've got another ma, and you've got my match to finish, so, g- so duration all or gets back in there, and Seamus hits a rogue a congregation all are Grayson else it like he's been hit by a cannonball. Seamus gets the victory as he should because of using the spirit between Grayson all are an us and Erie and Erie is basically after this is all happening. Seamus gets a victory, which is alright, but as for this storyline between um between Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they've been using it for far too long for me to actually um actually have a shit about it. So yeah, so yeah, A for Seamus to for the other uh, um so so yeah, in the back you see in the back you see in the back you see for all instructor and to cut you work and other few and the other TV championship there after on in the and he said to um he said he said to um appreciate I appreciate the work you've done of I will auto heavyweight championship. It will not continue heights. It's been a year since with the us from each other and the vision and the company extra and alright, so he says to and do and for actually he says no and just because humans during the future and the company and never vision doesn't make it or rude up but is mine have held on that war on W and yeah yeah so it ends that so yeah ends that segment obviously for all and just trying to be either so a heel of it so you trying to borrow or arrangements so yeah um so yeah so we go to so we go to so we go to another bar or and the new day comes out and they basically rag on the tag of a vision again. They say they say the LWO aren't anything without um aren't anything without the Mysterio the Dragon relation all aren't us anything if if um He's been in fighting for months, and I've been exactly, exactly get this spill over and done with. If I don't get what I decree, if folks would have the nudity, come out there and say that, and they have just as much he'd get on their own storylines up basically. Eh, and yeah, that was just insanity. Obviously, as well, they said to the right, um, American made the read, but ultimately they're going to beat them next week, and they said that they were already are still on to deserve another title shot. So when we get to so we get our second money in the bank oh fire match in the evening, and it's obviously um so we start already Europe and Kylie is in now. I'm not going to delve much into this match as I'm so waste sad he is injured of the sniper drop act of the opera. It kind of took me out the match a bit because the way he kind of blew out on it was the same Sherry injured a few months ago, and yeah, and she doesn't get a lot of doesn't get a lot of time as is on the show. And anyway, so for her it must be really frustrating, and it was very and it was very distressing to actually hear her screams as the camera to go to an advert, but obviously if you're a subscriber to Netflix, obviously if you're a UK subscriber to Netflix, will actually get the whole sort of happenings during the break, and it was just stressing to actually hear her screams, and it did look nasty. It did look nasty um injury, and um she'll be out for an extended period later time. You would imagine, because it did look nasty. Either way, she came down on that knee. Um, obviously, obviously, as well, and it went to, and it went to on match, but in Europeans, and so yeah, and the two of them did the best they could. Obviously, it really hits the so a elbow into the corner, or she then eyes, she then tries to hit them in elbow and the ripple, but ripple moves out the way and and hits a riptide and the Asian gets a lead out. Now it's not very ideal that Kyrie irony comes back the her injury um when her injury and takes a fall on a snipe back, but obviously you knew that Rhea wasn't going to lose that match. Obviously, it probably would have been Zoey Stark that took the fall, but because of Zoe's um, Zoe's unfortunate injury, it kind of um, it kind of did um, it kind of did leave it up to Kyrie to take the fall. And yeah, some things on bigger than match always, and I just hope that Zoe's arc is okay, because that looked horrific. Um, obviously, uh, obviously we get a pre, obviously we get a pre Romo for us. Obviously, we get a pre-tape Romo for us, and a pre-tape promo Sev. He says he says it's a good quality to have to be loyal. Um, um, be loyal to your um, be loyal to your her ends, but he's also a stupid at home, and that um himself is gonna have to redeem obviously obviously and says he was in them until we're trying to redeem himself, but there's a will got involved, and and next week is going to make an example of him. Obviously, obviously, I think it'll be a pretty decisive match. I think, I think several destroyed his armor, and about and obviously, obviously in the back, of, obviously in the back, of, it, he um, asks you, I about, about or it so, like, be in the on in the back, and action who should be fit, and who should who at potentially be facing and but she says she is enjoying being ch- champion. Um, so on that segments for and next we get uh, to the judgment day of her house and we see um you see the judgment day he actually he celebrate the tag actually are Mama, and it says in Mama a season of and um and obviously and comes um and comes um and comes in and he brings in or San Pere is with him and he says to Dominic Mysterio, he says to you were right about you um us so but they would like to introduce Michelle to the San Perez obviously he killed Rodriguez is a bit sort as a bit sort of as a that uh, and so is the Dominic it for us and obviously um and obviously Dominic says the Zoe have know about us and obviously eh, um and obviously your Oxan is like I've got your presents so she get I was Dominic about Oxa chicken or gets I think there was a bit of a football pan and Oxa and Perez's end as Dominic likes chicken tenders, but he's actually he actually kind of smirks and he um and he um and he enjoys the look of his isn't it kind of it kind of gives her a Oksana slimy look and that sort of giving and you think oh and you think that my I think it is probable you're right think eventually he will humble of Morgan for um or Oxan anywhere else. San gives Carly it or bag up also kill says that's enough of MO of when he hear about this out of our um get out of our of house and yeah and then yeah so and as oh she's not what I feel with fella as but you know I've could I forgot about I cut all the one and here have curly it oh who have you has got so Roxa so Roxana actually leaves the judgment day oppose and it actually adds to the tension here obviously of Morgan's wrapped up wrapped up and there with in Tokyo project. So she'll be back pretty soon. She's on her way back to the States. So then you get alumni in event run break on the else's do. So and it was just like the kind of pace to my arch expect. It be better on but run breaker did this was line attempt off the apron over the announced able buddy or had the majority in the match, but then but NJ got back in and they looked as though he was making a comeback, but obviously for Rollins obviously Seth Rollins and a fierce opportunity in the back and obviously Ozzy this all vacation for Anish um um you like on all and begin so all outcomes um outcomes Sammy's in and see all um to get the upper hand and to get the upper hand in the exchange up until the um up until all engine but make a fight but and it goes into the crowd so then Ozzy's on the top rope a face championship and then Hogan Paul comes in and walks out you so to it key is think the championships and jeopardy but it won't be because also already in until at least my on in the back I maybe on or but yeah it'll be Hogan Paul on the Saturday night's main event special. Overall, there was bits I enjoyed the Judgment Day stuff. I enjoyed the um I enjoyed them the first I enjoyed the first all if I are little Roxanne Perez on a tiny a tiny watching that match, but yeah, as what it is, the Ike match to open the night, I thought was very good. A pity pen, a pity pen. Um, is a guy is a guy that got the pin, but it was an enjoyable match. The second fire is obviously a bit of an on event due to Zoe Stark's injury and the Austin irrigation all on segments and stuff I don't really give a shit about the spell. It's happening the spell. It's eaten far too long and obviously um and obviously the mama match with Sheamus is a bit too predictable. Oh, even though like Sheamus obviously is with the borough at the end is to provide a bit of um a bit of who's going to win type thing between Owens on for Owens and Braun, but he are for the for one of the matches that's happened in the next main event. I think Seth Owens and Bray are all under the match here on the show. But yeah, overall, I, I felt a bit over last each show, so I'll give it maybe a 7.5. I have to each points off for the Giddies and all are Austin Erie Oreo ein, but I also have to you can account Zoey Stark's horrific injury. It kind of did take me out of parts of the show. Oh, and yeah, sad to hear. It's as though Stark will be out for a while. And yeah, so that's a reason why I give it a 7.5. A better show than last week, but that one wouldn't be hard. The crowd I thought were pretty good. They were into the show unlike last week, actual which helps. And yeah, so yeah, guys, will like, share, subscribe and comment, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you over very soon.